Hello everybody. So today we're going to make a baby girl dress for size 0 to 3 months. And what you're going to need is you're going to need your 5mm crochet hook. And for the yarns, we're actually going to use Red Heart Super Savior in the color soft white. And we're also going to use grenadine, which is a really pretty pink. And we're also going to use a color called lemon, which looks somewhat like a very soft yellow. Here it is, but it's really pretty. Okay guys, so to begin, what we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to start with a chain of 55 plus 1. So we're going to make a total of 56 chains. So I'm going to do that off camera and then meet back with you guys when I'm ready to continue for the next part. Okay guys, so here I have made my 56 chains, and what you're going to do next is you're going to double crochet in the third chain from the hook, and that chain 2 that we would have made at the beginning is going to count as our first stitch. So we're going to double crochet in that third chain from the hook. I'm just showing you guys here that chain 2 we're going to count as a stitch, and what we're going to do next is we're going to double crochet in the next 5 chains. And following that 5th double crochet, you're going to place 3 double crochets in the next chain. 3, 4, and 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double crochet 3 times into that same stitch. So here I'm placing my 3 double crochet into that same chain. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 11 chains, and then following that 11th stitch, we're going to place 3 double crochet in the next stitch. So here guys, we made our 11th stitch. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place 3 double crochets into the next chain. So now that we've made that increase, what we're going to do next is we're going to double crochet in the next 15 chains. So 1 double crochet in the next 15 chains, and then following that 15th stitch, we're going to place 3 double crochets in the next stitch after that 15th stitch. So here we're making that increase following those 15 stitches now. And now that we've completed that increase, what you're going to do next is you're going to double crochet across in the next 11 chains, and then you're going to place 3 double crochet in the next chain following that 11th stitch. Right now we're coming to our next increase, so we're placing our 3 double crochets into that chain space. And now what we're going to do next is we're going to double crochet across in the remaining 7 chains. And once you've done that, you would have completed row 1. So here is our completed row 1. So to begin row 2, we're going to begin with a chain of 3 and turn. And that chain 3 actually counts as our first double crochet. And what we're going to do now is we're going to double crochet in the next 7 stitches. And following your 7th stitch, you're going to increase in the next, which is 3 double crochets all in the same stitch. So including that first chain 3 and your 7 double crochets, you should have 8 double crochets. So here I'm making my increase now, which is 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Once completed, what you're going to do next is you're going to double crochet in the next 13 stitches. And following your 13th stitch, you're going to increase, which is whereby you place 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So following our 13th stitch, we're increasing now. We're placing our 3 double crochets into the same stitch. And now what you're going to do next is you're going to double crochet in the next 17 stitches. And following your 17th stitch, you're going to place 3 double crochet in the next. So here guys, we're making our increase following our 17th stitch. So that is 3 double crochets that goes all into the same stitch. So following that, you're going to place 13 double crochet in the next 13 stitches. So 1 double crochet in the next 13 stitches. And following your 13th stitch, you're going to place an increase, which is 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Here we're making our final increase for this round, and following that increase you're going to place a double crochet in the next 8 stitches. And remember guys that we said at the beginning of row 1 we had that chain 2 which counted as our first double crochet, so your 8th stitch goes on top of that chain 2 from the previous round. So now to begin row 3, we're going to begin with our chain 3 and turn. Remember your chain 3 counts as your stitch, it's your first double crochet, and you're going to double crochet across in the next 8 stitches. And once you have completed your next 8 double crochet, you're going to place 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Here I'm marking my increase, which is my 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Now that that's completed, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to double crochet in the next 15 stitches, and then following that 15th stitch you're going to do an increase again, which is 3 double crochets all in the same stitch. Here I'm making my increase following that 15th stitch. So next what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 19 stitches. So 1 double crochet in the next 19 stitches, and then after your 19th stitch you're going to make an increase, which is 3 double crochets all in the same stitch. So here guys, I'm making my next increase. So next what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 15 stitches, And following your 15th stitch, you're going to place 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So we're just making our final increase. So what we're going to do next for the remainder of this row, we're going to double crochet in the last 9 stitches. And remember, your last stitch should be worked on the top of that chain 3 from the previous row. So this is how it should look once you've completed row 3 of the yoke of your dress. So this is how it looks. So now to begin row 4, you're going to begin with a chain 3 and turn like you always do. That chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. And now what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet across the next 9 and then 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So double crochet across the next 9 and then 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So here we're going to place our 3 double crochets in there. And next what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet into each of the next 17 stitches. And then once you have those 17 stitches, you're going to place 3 double crochets into the next stitch. So double crochet across and then 3 double crochets in the next. Remember, you're making 17 double crochets and then an increase, which is 3 double crochets into the next stitch following that 17th stitch. Right now we're making our increase. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to double crochet in the next 21 stitches. So 1 double crochet in the next 21 stitches. And then after your 21st stitch, you're going to place an increase, which is 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So here we're making our increase after that 21st stitch. So next what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 17 stitches. And then following your 17th stitch, we're going to place our increase, which is 3 double crochets in the next. And then once you've done your increase after your 17th stitch, you're going to double crochet in the remaining 10 stitches of the row. And remember, your 10th stitch is made on top of the chain 3 from the previous row. So I'll go ahead and speed up the video and come back to you guys when you're ready to start row 5. So to begin row 5, we do like we normally do and start with a chain 3 and turn, and we're going to double crochet in the next 10 stitches. And once you've made your 10th stitch, you're going to place 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Okay, so we just made our increase after that 10th stitch. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 19 stitches, and then we're going to place our increase in the next stitch following that. So 1 double crochet in the next 19 stitches, and then 3 double crochet in the next. So I'm going to go ahead and finish row 5 off camera. So following your increase, you're going to double crochet in the next 23 stitches and then increase again, and then following that increase, after your 23rd stitch, you're going to double crochet in the next 19, and then you're going to do an increase again, and then following your last increase after a 19th stitch is you're going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches. Remember, your 11th stitch goes on top of the chain 3 from the previous round. So this is what your work should look like after you've completed rows 1 to 5. So now we're going to start row 6, where we're going to create the armholes. So you're going to begin with a chain of 3 and turn. And you're going to double crochet in the next 12 stitches. And once you've come to your 12th stitch, you're going to skip the next 21 stitches. So here I've just made my 12th stitch. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to skip the next 21 stitches. And then after that, I'm going to double crochet in the next 26 stitches. So after I skip 21 stitches, I'm going to double crochet 26 stitches. So here I'm going to do my first of 26 stitches. So I'm going to continue until I have 26 double crochets. And following my 26th stitch, I'm going to skip 21 again. So once you've completed your 26 stitches, what you're going to do is you're going to skip 21 stitches again, like I mentioned before, and then you're going to double crochet in the remaining 13 stitches of your row. And then you're going to slip stitch to the beginning of your chain 3 to join as a round. So after row 6, we're going to start working in rounds. So right now, I'm working on my 26 stitches, skip 21, and then you're going to double crochet in the remaining 13 stitches. So that's what we have here. So now I have my 2 armholes formed. So in the beginning of the row, you should have 13 stitches, including that chain 3. And then at the end, you should have 13 stitches again at the end. And now I'm going to join at the beginning of the chain 3, at the top of the chain 3, to form a round. And this is what your work should look like, guys. So now we're working in rounds. So to begin round 1, we're going to chain 3, and your chain 3 still counts as your first stitch. And we're going to double crochet in the next stitch and in each stitch all the way around, and then slip stitch to join. So I went ahead and completed round 1. So now we're going to slip stitch to join here at the top of chain 3, and for round 2 we're going to chain 3 again, which counts as our first stitch, and then we're going to double crochet in all the stitches all the way around again, and then we're going to slip stitch to join. But I'm going to change colors, so I'm going to slip stitch with my new color. But if you're not changing colors, you just slip stitch with your white yarn. So here guys, I'm coming to the end of round 2, and instead of slip stitching with our soft white, I'm going to slip stitch with our pink yarn, our grenadine. And I always give it a little knot in the back to secure it. I'm going to cut off that white yarn and give it a little knot to secure it in place. And then we're going to begin working the following rounds in our pink yarn. So for rounds 3 and 4, we're going to actually chain 2, and this chain 2 counts as our first half double crochet, guys. And what we're going to do next is we're going to half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. So 1 half double crochet in each stitch all the way around and slip stitch to join, and we're doing this for rounds 3 and 4. So now to begin round 5, we're going to chain 2 and place 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. And then following that, you're going to place 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So 2 half double crochets in the next stitch, following your 2 single half double crochets in the next 2 stitches. So 2 half double crochets in one stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then after that you repeat from the beginning. So we're going to place 2 half double crochets in the next, 1 half double crochet in the next two stitches all the way around. So there, I made it back around. So beginning round 6, we're going to chain 5, and this chain of 5 counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. So next what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to increase in the next. And in this case, our increase is actually a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet all in the same stitch. So here I just had trouble trying to figure out where I was placing my stitches. So we're going to place a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Struggle trying to get it in. And then you're going to place an increase in the next stitch, which is, in this case, for this part of the pattern, we're going to place a double crochet, chain 2, and then another double crochet all in the same stitch. So I have my double crochet there, I'm chaining 2, and then another double crochet all in the same stitch. So that's our increase throughout the rest of the pattern for now. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around. So I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then an increase in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and then slip stitch to the beginning of our chain at the beginning to join. So guys, this is what it looks like once we've completed round 6. And I slip stitch to the top of our chain 3. So in the top of our chain 3, we left the remaining 2 stitches to count as our chain 2, like I mentioned before when we began the round. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to place an increase in that first chain space, which is our double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet on the same space. And now I'm going to just double crochet, 1 double crochet in each stitch until we reach the next chain 2 space. And in which case, in each chain 2 space, we're going to do our increase again, which is a double crochet, chain 2, and then another double crochet on the same chain 2 space. So we're going to repeat this all the way around, placing 1 double crochet in each stitch and then an increase in our chain 2 spaces. Remember guys, our chain 2 spaces, the increase for these chain 2s are our double crochets, chain 2, and then another double crochet in the same space. So we're going to repeat that all the way around. So there you have it guys. So that completes round 7. So this is what it looks so far once we've done that. So now for rounds 8 to 10, we're going to actually repeat round 7, and at the end of round 10 we're going to slip stitch for new color. So we're just going to chain 3, and we're going to place a double crochet in each stitch until we make it to our chain 2 spaces, in which case we're going to do our increase. This is a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet all in the same chain 2 space. So 1 double crochet in each stitch and then an increase in our chain 2 spaces. And we're going to repeat this for rounds 8 to 10, and then we're going to meet back up with you guys once we've completed that. And voila, this is what we have once we've completed our rounds 8 to 10. So now, if you're not gonna change colors guys, then you can continue with your pink, and you continue this pattern until you have a total of 15 rounds. However, I'm changing colors, so I'm going to slip stitch with my new color here, in which case I'm going to drop my pink yarn and I'm going to pick up my new color, which is my lemon or soft yellow color. So I'm just going to slip stitch here like I normally would with my new color, and I'm going to put a knot in the back to secure it in place, and then I'm going to continue the same pattern until I have a total of 15 rounds. Oh, guys, so for these rounds, for reference, we're doing rounds 11 to 15 in this new color. Remember, if you're not changing colors, you're going straight down. You're going to repeat the pattern until you have a total of 15 rounds. So we're just double crocheting in each stitch until we come to our chain 2 space, in which we place an increase, and we continue that all the way around and slip stitch to join. So here guys, this is what it looks like once we've completed our rounds 11 to 15 in our yellow or lemon colored yarn. So this is what we have so far. So for the final round of the dress, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually chain one, and in this case now this chain one does not count as our stitch. It does not count as a stitch. The chain one does not count as a stitch, guys. So I'm going to chain one here, and I'm going to place a single crochet in that same space, because remember I said that the chain one does not count as a stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and I'm also only going to place one single crochet in each chain two space. So we're not increasing in any of our chain two spaces. We're placing one single crochet in each chain two space and in each double crochet across. So once that is completed, we're going to slip stitch to the beginning, which is a slip stitch in the first single crochet that we made, and then we're going to tie off. So right here I'm slip stitching to the first single crochet made, and then I'm going to tie off, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like so far. And this is it. So here guys, I'm going to begin making the bow for the front of our dress. You don't have to make this if you don't want to. This is completely optional, but I just wanted to, so I'm just going to do that. And so to begin, you're going to start with a chain of 16, and then you're going to double crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain to the end. So here guys, I have my row 1 completed for the bow, and once completed you should have 15 double crochets in total. So for row 2 we're going to actually chain 1 and turn and double crochet in the same space as that chain 1, because that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And so you're going to double crochet in that same space as that chain 1, and then in each stitch all the way across to the end. And you're going to repeat this again for a total of 3 rows. And then I'm going to show you guys what I do next following the end of row 3. So here guys, this is the end of row 3, and so what I'm going to do now is going to chain 1 and turn, but instead of working in the normal direction that we would normally work in, I'm going to go in the opposite direction and work single crochets, and thereby producing reverse single crochets. You don't have to do this. You can do normal single crochets if you prefer, but I like the look that the reverse single crochet has, so I'm just going to work with that. So in the opposite direction, I'm going to work single crochets, and it gives us a nice ribbed look or edging, and that's why I'm going to use that. So I'm going to do this all the way around the edge of my piece, and in each corner I'm going to work 3 reverse single crochets in the corners so that we can turn properly and complete this all the way around. Okay, so this is what we have once we've completed, and I slip stitch to join. I'm just going to tie off even a long tail for sewing. So I'm going to grab a tapestry needle now, and I'm going to show you guys how I keep my bow shape. So I usually just pinch it in the middle. So I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and thread up that excess yarn that we left for sewing. So I'm just going to weave through to the middle of my piece, and I just eyeball it. So there's really no right or wrong. So I'm just going to weave through until I make it to what I believe is the middle of my piece. And so once I have that there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it in the middle to form the bow shape. And I'm going to wrap around my yarn multiple times to keep it in place and to secure it, to maintain my bow shape. And then I'm going to make a couple knots in the back to secure it. So this is what it should look like, guys, and I'm going to use the remaining yarn to sew this onto the front of my dress, more so in the corner, but you can sew this anywhere you prefer to sew it. The choice is yours. So I'm not going to sew this on just yet. I'm going to keep this for the end. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on the sleeves or armholes of my dress and also the neckline. So now I'm going to work on the neckline and the armholes or sleeves of my dress. I'm going to attach my yarn with a slip stitch, and I'm going to use reverse single crochet like I did before, but you can use normal single crochet if you prefer, but I just like the way the reverse single crochets look. So I'm just going to be working single crochets in the opposite direction of my dress along the back part of my dress and along the shoulders or neckline of the dress as well. And when I reach the top of my dress, or which are the corners at the top piece of the back, I'm going to work 3 reverse single crochets in there so that we can turn properly. But you can use normal single crochet if you prefer, but I just want to do this, so that's when I'm going to do that. So we're just working single crochets in the opposite direction. I don't know what is the best way to describe it to you, but there are plenty of other videos on YouTube out there that can show you guys how to do a reverse single crochet. And here I'm coming to the top piece, and in this corner right here is where I'm going to work my 3 reverse single crochets so that we turn nicely, and then continue on working reverse single crochets along the neckline of the dress and meet back up at the back of the dress where we started. And then I'm going to work on the sleeves or armholes as well, using reverse single crochet as well. And following that, the only thing left to do would be to sew on our buttons at the back of the dress, and I'm going to do all of that off camera. Sew on the button at the back of the dress. You could make buttonholes if you want to at the back of your dress. However, I'm going to use my double crochet stitches. I'm going to put my buttons through those stitches and use those as my buttonholes. So here I've completed the neckline and the sleeves or armholes of my dress. We're using our reverse single crochets. So the only thing left next to do, like I mentioned before, is to sew on my buttons and sew on my bow at the front of my dress. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once completed. And this is our finished dress, guys. I think it came out really cute and pretty. You can let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.